All right, we are live. How are you doing, Thomas? Happy
I'm
Labor
doing
Day
great today,
weekend.
Shelby. How are you doing out there?
I'm a little bit tired today, but I made it here. Yeah, we usually start at like around 8, but today we start at 10. Yeah, it's a long
Yeah,
weekend, so I think my body is already ready to have a
yeah.
relax and chilling.
I'm gonna take it easy this weekend myself. I was gonna do one workout, but just try to get
Mm.
in. Say I did something.
Yeah, so if anyone joining us, they might be listening or watching on the road, driving to their little getaway, right? On the long weekend.
Hmm.
So this week there's something happens. First one is the Mark Zuckerberg's letter from Facebook or Meta, and that make a lot of controversy. Seems like every time he come out and say something, he just make himself a lot of trouble. So, right?
Yeah. Doesn't he have a board along with him? Because I know he
I
serves as his CEO, as far as I understand it. But I mean, he's got to have like a whole board that advises him and stuff, right?
I have no idea, but so basically Facebook Meta came out with a letter saying that they were pressured by the Biden administration during COVID to censor the posts that people post. So a lot of you know vaccines or COVID, any related with the COVID posts, they got taken down, and that of course upset a lot of people. And now they 4 years later, now they turn around and say we were pressured by the administration, and as we know, that same time we have the election. So I don't know. It did this just kind of lead me to earlier this week with TikTok. TikTok was in the mix. They were try to pressure them, and they're saying you gotta sell it to their American company or someone who's in America. I think that's the same play card that they put in for Meta Facebook. So because I personally been putting out a lot of content, more like a controversial content these days on TikTok, and I get you know my content got removed, and these type of content it's not like out there. It's like kind of like what everybody does as well, and it's like involved with, again, COVID, or even talk about Donald Trump. And I can see the algorithm is controlling that. Anything that has to relate it with uh, Donald Trump, I get less views. Anything that related to COVID, even today, they will say you we have to remove the guideline. Yeah. So, what do you have? What is your thoughts on that? Do you have any
I'm
thoughts on?
honestly, I'm a little surprised at them trying to flex on TikTok, but at the same time, not really. I
Okay,
mean, TikTok. There's been so much controversy surrounding TikTok
right.
over the last just decade alone. It's not surprising at all that they're in the mix. You
Right.
know, but one of the things I do find disingenuous with TikTok is that they're trying to pressure them into selling it to an American buyer, which to me goes back to you're not really concerned about social media and its effect
Mm.
on the people or youth or any of these things. You're just concerned about controlling the message. So I'm like,
Yes.
yeah, let them keep it.
Yes,
I'll let the Chinese keep it.
and it's kind of interesting that the timing that Mark Zuckerberg came out and say this is right after the X that Elon Musk interviewed Trump, and
Hmm.
That Elon Musk is all about free of speech, which I'm very admire of that. I'm also very support that free of speech. And now they, he came out right after that. It sounds like okay, you know, it seems like oh, if I don't make a move, then I'm gonna Facebook or Meta's gonna be left behind or some sort of that kind of feelings, right?
Yeah, it's like a Johnny come lately. But here's the thing: it's like he's trying to ingratiate himself with Trump instead of Harris, and that's obvious because he came out.
Yeah,
First
and
words out of his mouth was the Biden administration pressured me.
yeah,
And
he also said he's not gonna donate,
yeah,
to the
like,
Democrats.
yeah, I'm like, ooh, you're not going to donate in your wife's name to a political party. Ooh, it goes back to our earlier conversation when I
Right.
said Mark Zuckerberg, just like you said before, every time this guy opens his mouth to make a statement,
Hmm.
it's like for somehow he finds a shovel, and it's like,
Right.
and that's like what I was asking before. Like, does this guy not have a board of directors advising him? I mean,
I don't
honestly,
know.
honestly, does he not have a board of advisors advising him or anybody? Be like, no,
Hmm.
that's not really a good look. We don't really want to go there because Facebook has been involved in one controversy after another about their legitimacy, period, anyway, as a
Yes.
social media company. So for you to come out and say the Biden administration pressured me, I felt pressure.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody's just giving you, we giving you the side eye, Mark. Like,
That yeah, that makes me also, think back relate to the January 6th when Trump is canceled across all the platforms. That
mm-hmm.
might be also related to the pressure, censorship. Yeah. So I just want to also share, just to let the audience knows if you're on YouTube or if you ever go on my channel, I create a lot of posts around what we talk about here. So if you guys want to check it out, it's under the community, and then we have a lot of people sharing different thoughts and comments. Even someone say he should put in jail for election interference. So yeah. So this is again I'm huh? Yes, Mark Zuckerberg should. So, again, we're not gonna censor anybody's comment unless you two did it, But
Yeah, yeah.
but
No, I would like, I would let Mark Zuckerberg say everything he wants to say. I'm a full believer in everybody digs their own hole.
right,
And so
yeah,
I just I just got to be honest when I say when he says stuff like that, it's like you got no, you got zero credibility whatsoever. You
I
know,
hear some.
so
Are you playing some video? I hear some noises in the background.
the web page started up over here
Yeah, you need to
again.
turn it down because it's
Yeah, trying to. My
yeah.
bad.
It's all right. Okay. Because I don't want people to think where's that come from. All right.
Yeah,
So
no, the plane flew in on the screen, and it's like, no, it's just trying to.
it's all right.
But yeah, yeah, it was no, when we go back to things like Mark Zuckerberg has been, that guy's been in front of a congressional committee. I think he's been in front of a congressional committee more than Trump.
Many times with different subjects, how do you say it? Accusing,
Well, I
accusation.
wouldn't say accusation because the congressional committee has no. The thing about the congressional committee, especially that a lot of people don't understand. Okay, let's
Mm,
just make this quick. I'll make this real quick. A lot of people don't
okay.
understand this is how this works. When you hear your government say, well, our government, when you hear our government say, we're going to hold a congressional hearing on A, B, and
Mm-hmm,
C,
mm-hmm.
that's just an investigation.
how should voters look at some of the
Mm,
changes that you've
okay.
made, that
Oops.
you've explained some of here?
We're
My
both doing
turn.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
but a congressional hearing is just an investigation for Congress to gather
Mhm,
more information so that they can make an amendment to a constitution, an adjustment to the amendment to the
mhm.
constitution, set a or draft a law for to be put in place.
Right.
A congressional hearing has no judiciary function whatsoever. There's no legal recourse to a congressional hearing. So that's why whenever I hear somebody talking about, oh, we're in a congressional hearing and the congressman was tearing into so and so, who cares? The
Yeah.
only thing you can't do is the only thing you can't do is refuse to show up, in which
Mhm.
case you'll get a fine for not showing up. But at the end of the day, who cares? A congressional hearing is just an investigation for Congress to consider law, to consider passing laws. So it was developed so that Congress could investigate more issues so
Mm,
that they and make sure that they had all the A's, B's, C's, dotted I's, and crossed T's,
mhm.
as they're drafting legislation for a law. That's it. If you're talking about you want trouble,
Mhm.
judiciary trouble, court trouble, or something, no, you got to go to court. Like Congress cannot overturn anything Supreme Court says.
Yeah.
Period. They can write
Oh,
a new law, but they can't overturn interpretation or create interpretation.
yeah, what I wanna just mention this every time
Yeah,
we
we're getting
talk
we're getting
about
off in
law or whatnot. I wanna make a disclaimer. We're not lawyer, we're not
Oh
attorneys, so
yes,
whatever we
please.
talk about here is
Yeah,
just
please
our
tell
own
people that
opinion.
we are not.
We're
Yeah,
just our own opinions, entertainment purpose. So
yeah.
talk
This is
about
only reason I know this is because I looked up what a congressional hearing was
okay,
for. That doesn't mean
so
I'm an expert on it.
yes, so we don't,
By far.
we're not giving
Yeah. Oh man,
any law,
I can see somebody out there now. Well,
law advice.
Thomas
Okay.
said.
Oh no.
I'll be
Yeah.
like, you
All
better
right.
not make
So
him bring me into
so
court.
since we're on this topic about law, let's move on to the next topic because we're doing a short one today. I know everyone is on vacation. So the next one, since we're on law, we're gonna talk about our good old Kamala Harris. She's a attorney general, right? From California before. So
She's a former attorney general.
yes. So this week's topic about her is she finally have her interview, public interview, and it's on CNN. And everybody's been waiting for this, right? And everybody's suspect why she doesn't do any public speaking or any interview at all.
Yes.
And the first interview she went on, she she had a Tim Watts with her, so
It's
that's
not
kind of I don't know. That's kind of
uh,
strange because
not really because the
some
thing is she
people
should
think,
have been doing interviews before this.
why? Yeah. So I have a clip to share with everyone. She's what's her name? Interview on CNN with Dana
This
Bash.
Lena
Yeah.
Bash.
Dana Bash.
Okay.
Yes, I'm
Yeah,
gonna
for some reason I
share
couldn't find her
that.
name on any of the tickets.
Yeah. So
Dana
it's just a
Bash.
short. Yeah, Dana Bash.
Generally speaking, how should voters look at some of the changes that you've made, that you've explained some of here, in your policy? Is it because you have more experience now and you've learned more about the information? Is it because you were running for president in a Democratic primary? And should they feel comfortable and confident that what you're saying now is going to be your policy moving forward?
Dana, I think the most important and most significant aspect of my policy perspective and decisions is my values have not changed. You mentioned the Green New Deal. I have always believed, and I have worked on it, that the climate crisis is real, that it is an urgent matter, to which we should apply metrics that include holding ourselves to deadlines around time. We did that with the Inflation Reduction Act. We have set goals for the United States of America and by extension the globe around when we should meet certain standards for reduction of greenhouse gas emissions, as an example. That value has not changed. My value around what we need to do to secure our border, that value has not changed. I spent 2 terms as the Attorney General of California prosecuting transnational criminal organizations, violations of American laws regarding the passage, illegal passage of guns, drugs, and human beings across our border. My values have not changed.
Okay, so there's a lot of controversy talk about she flipping around her quote unquote value. And yes, and the one thing that everybody probably know or seeing is the border. I forgot, was it Lester Halls was interviewing her back in the days about, have you been to the border? Have you been to the border? And she's like, saying, we will go to the border. Remember that clips?
Yes.
And then you also mentioned like about 3 weeks ago, our show, we were talking about her, and you said, you mentioned she have to get her message straight. Remember that? She has to.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she has to get her message straight and defined. And
exactly.
I was waiting for her to do this, make that statement, and bring it forth so we could see it. And here's my take.
Okay, go ahead.
Kamala Harris, you're running for president. Drop all the stuff Joe Biden was carrying.
Yeah.
Make this your presidency. You know the parts of the administration and what was going on that didn't work, that failed. So the last thing you need to be doing is doubling down on hopes and feelings that it's going to work, because you just make yourself look. You just played yourself on your first interview. You just played yourself. And second of all, you should have had an interview, way back before you even introduced Walls. You should have had an interview way back then. You should have done it then.
And this interview seems like a very scripted, safe, I can feel, because we've been talking, we've been, sharing a lot of interviews on here already, and you can sense this is very subtle, very safe. There's no out of blue question, like crazy questions or whatnot, right? Do you have that feeling?
It's almost as if she's trying to give the voters a comfort feeling about her. And I'm like, great if you were running against the Republican Joe Biden. If you were running against almost any other Republican, okay, yeah, that's great. That you can take that route. Because none of them were ready to get in the ring anyway. Trump was the only one ready. He was the only one planning it. He was the only one setting it up. And the guy's been dancing circles around you from day one.
Trump already went on so many interviews, like even with one with Dr. Phil. Have you seen that one? I saw a little bit. Elon
Nobody
Musk.
is questioning what Trump's view is. He may not have given his plan, but we know his views. We know how he feels. And that's saying a lot. The Democratic Party, you fumbled the ball. First of all, they fumbled the ball letting Joe Biden believe he was going to actually run a second term anyway. That's right off the bat. Okay, they fumbled the ball right there. They should have never brought that up. And then if Harris was going to run and they were going to support her, she should have been running right out the box with a solid message on her presidency, how it's going to be done. Not make a whole 90-degree divergent from Joe Biden's presidency, but enough that it's definitely her presidency and not another regurgitation of his time in office, so you can, distance yourself from that. And they've just failed in every single capacity.
Yeah, and another controversial talk is she's somehow came out now identifying herself as a black.
Yeah, I
And
haven't seen that yet,
and to
but
me
I
personally,
I just wanted to beat my head with a hammer,
but
like
okay, to me personally, I really feel that that's a little bit wrong, because seems like she's identify herself like that is because she wants to get the vote from the community, the black community. And what's your thought on that?
my thought on that is that's a shaky boat to that's a stupid shaky boat to get in. I would
Uh-huh.
have never brought it up. I would have never mentioned it
Right.
because now you got people looking.
Yeah, it sounds
I would
like
have
they're gonna.
never mentioned it once and just let everybody believe what they're gonna believe.
So it's like a birth certificate kind of thing all over again, huh? Don't you think so? Later on.
No, this one's gonna be one of those. This one's gonna turn into. This one has every opportunity to turn into one of those. She says she's black, but
Uh-huh.
she's really Hindu. And then
Yeah.
you start looking into the Indian culture
Mm,
more closely and how
yeah, I know. It's
oh
complicated.
saying it's complicated is an understatement. You're gonna bring up stuff that there's a lot of stuff in the Hindu culture that doesn't align with American values.
Yeah.
And
Well,
these are fundamental things, and it's like you spent a long time making yourself American. Why are you proving to be a dumbass on top of that? Like, what was it? Who was it? I'm trying to remember. I think it was, and I really hate to say this. I
mm,
really hate to say this, but
uh-huh.
Hillary, the reason Hillary failed,
Yes.
Hillary had every opportunity to win. The reason she
Okay.
failed, she made a lot of the
Yes.
same fucking mistakes.
So a lot of what?
She made a lot of the same mistakes.
Okay.
Comments on comments that don't have nothing to do with that don't or shouldn't have anything to do with her actually being a president.
Mm-hmm.
One, because it's like, look, you're a woman. You're trying to be the first female president.
Right.
You don't need to be talking to women.
Okay.
No, you need to be talking to men. You need to
Okay.
be talking to men, reassuring men that you can have a conversation. You're cool headed. You can manage an argument. You
Mm,
need to be concentrating on talking to men and men alone. The women will follow behind you because you're a female. The more men you box in your corner, the more women you're going to have in your corner.
mm,
Because the women are going to see, oh, all these guys are believing her. All these guys are rallying behind her. That's who you need to be talking to. You need to be damn sure pick a position
mm-hmm.
and don't change it until you get hard evidence that this might not be the way we want to go. Let's reassess. But pick a position first.
Yeah, it made me feel like she right now try to throw different things and see which one sticks. So then she
Yeah,
sticks. She sticks, right? Kind
yeah,
of like that. Yeah.
yeah. It's really she's like I said. This is the problem that Hillary had a lot, and then Hillary's team made a lot of embarrassing mistakes for her too.
Okay.
And it's like don't surround. The biggest thing I could tell Kamala Harris: do not surround yourself with people that make you feel good about you. Do not surround yourself with people that make you feel good about your decisions.
Mm.
Do not surround yourself with anybody grandstanding or hand clapping hopes and dreams. Because you're gonna be the president of the United States. You are gonna be the one that has to make a lot of hard decisions. I don't know if you've been paying attention, and you obviously hasn't. You obviously haven't.
Mm.
sitting in the office as the president will age you. It's I don't understand. It's like, look at Joe Biden. Joe Biden came out of his 2 terms as vice president like
Yeah,
Obama
okay.
came out 8 years looking like he aged 30. Obama went into
How about
office. He had
yeah,
almost all his hair was black. By the time he came out, he had so much salt in there. Ooh. Reagan,
okay.
the presidency almost killed Reagan. He had
Mm.
2 terms too. Clinton aged him.
So does that so looks like Donald Trump is the only one who looks the same. Like kind of.
Well, yeah,
He
too.
didn't age much.
But you got to also remember Donald Trump. The biggest things about Donald Trump was he shut down a war we shouldn't have really been involved in the first place. So he shut that down. And the biggest things he was dealing with was personal issues. People coming at him for personal issues, while he's the president. And then COVID at the very end.
Witch hunt and COVID. Yes.
Huh?
Witch hunt and COVID.
Yeah, like he had to deal with the beginnings of COVID happening at the very end. And then he did a lateral to Joe Biden, like, here you go, bud. Here you go, Sleepy. I had it, you got it.
So do you have a clip that you want to share for us?
I had a clip about them in any of this we were talking about. I had one about they're talking about the Kamala Harris interview, but it's not the one that you had, but it's similar. So
Okay,
since you've
go
already
ahead.
shown that.
Oh, so you don't have one?
No. I mean, I have one, but it's we've already discussed those and moved.
Okay, that's fine. All right.
Beyond it, the only other clip I have is the remainder of our discussion for about.
All right, so let's hop onto that one. So this 3 days ago, 2 gentlemen that I follow and I very admire is Billy Carson and Terrence Howard. They came together to do a show on Forbidden Knowledge YouTube channel. I mentioned about Billy Carson before on another episode, and he talked about a lot of quantum physics, a lot of Egyptian Anunnaki, and then tablets, from the ancient histories. And he went really deep into those kind of things. And he matched with Terrence Howard, which Terrence Howard is about geometry, secret geometries, and flower life. So these 2 met together. The show is very interesting. However, we can go on this. This is going to be a very large topic to talk about. But during that live show that they have, I found one section that's very interesting. So I want to show that section and see, what your thought on that, because, you can probably piggyback on that one. Okay, give me 1 second.
That Black people are capable of. It's mind-boggling, because if you just go into the actual list of actual inventions that exist throughout the known world, you'll find out that predominantly the majority of them were created by Black people, especially during the time of slavery, because we had to become innovators because of the amount of labor and work that we were doing. And so our minds were like, listen, man, we can't keep bending over and picking this stuff with our hands. We need a tractor. We need a motorized plow. We need a real toilet bowl. So and the innovation just consistently kept growing and growing and building and building. And if you want to look at it from a historical standpoint, the quote unquote modern world was built on the backs of Black people and our inventions, which predominantly most of them were taken away and siphoned away, and we didn't get full credit for a lot of the work that we did because, of course, the plantation owner would take the credit, but we were the inventors nonetheless.
Okay. So I thought that's very interesting because that's part of the what Terrence Howard is doing is he patent a lot of his innovations and discover towards like I mentioned, the geometry, the life of flower, and the void that he discovered. And so they mentioned about the innovation for the Black people. What do you have anything to chime in on that one?
Well, no. I mean, I've looked at what they both had to say, and
Mm-hmm.
I find both of them very engaging
Right.
and forthcoming. They're not trying to sell another yarn. And with that,
Mm.
they both speak about putting down your mark in history when you
Yeah.
do something or you develop it, that's putting in the patents and trademarks. And I fully support and believe that you should
Yeah.
be doing that.
Yes.
Like it was easier to mislead and or steal an idea before, because the 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 laws were set up so that you couldn't even do it anyway. Or you had to get somebody's support
Mm.
in order to even put a patent through the patent office. You had to have a specific kind of somebody's support just to do it. And that was back in, I want to say it was back in England,
Mm-mm.
but I
Okay.
believe it was that same way. It was like that here too in the US. That's how Tesla was deceived and
Yeah.
lost a lot of his ideas, and had his patents held up or just outright
Well,
denied.
yeah, we're talking about Nicholas Tesla, not the Tesla, the car
Oh
Tesla.
yeah,
It's just to let everyone know. Yeah, it's a
yeah.
Nicholas Tesla.
So
Yeah.
Nikola Tesla. We're talking
Right.
about Nikola Tesla.
Yeah.
It's a big deal to if you spend the time, especially as
Mm.
a person of color, if you spend the time
Mm-hmm.
to learn and develop a process and an idea or an
Mm-hmm.
equation, do the patent, do the work, and do the patent.
Right.
You deserve that recognition, and as Black people, you deserve to have your name remembered too for this country. There's a lot of things Black people have done in this country that get overlooked on purpose
Mm.
because a lot of people feel guilty about how things used to be. They feel guilty about how things still are. And I'd say this: fine, that's your problem, not mine.
Mm-hmm.
If
Yeah.
you feel
So
guilty about that, that's on you,
yeah.
not me.
So these two come together. I know it's gonna open a lot of doors, a lot of push a lot of envelopes because a lot of people are very disbelieve what they're saying. You know what I mean? And
Yeah. I think Terrence needs to start pushing a lot of his stuff towards the academic community for peer review too. I know he feels like he doesn't have a peer but I'm
mm,
like, don't think of it so narrowly
right.
with your line of research.
Hmm.
You know, get the peer review done. That
Yeah.
it will go a long way to supporting your words and your assertions, you know, within the scientific community alone. Don't flex on that because nobody's actually there's no either nobody or next to nobody going down the research path you're going down. You don't need them to be doing that. You need a
Yeah.
peer review to come behind you and be like, wow, he's dotting all these I's and T's, crossing these T's. I'm seeing it.
Yes, it's a very interesting discovery, and you say you have a video that you want to show. Do you want to?
it was the video you put up. We had the same
Oh,
video.
same one. Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, we had the
Got it.
same video. I
Alrighty.
just hadn't moved it.
Yeah, so innovation, and it's kind of like we, as a human, we all always looking for to how to advance our life, our experience, right? So,
Hmm.
right now, including AI, or even we're trying to go to the Mars, and that's all part of innovation. So, I mentioned about AI platform about a couple weeks ago, so I just want to let the audience know that the platform is coming soon. It's going to be in the middle of September. Then by that time, we'll do a little an episode that's introduced to everybody.
Yeah, I
Um,
want to check it out when
yeah, yeah,
you push it forward.
yes,
Because right
thank you,
now
thank
I'm
you.
still playing with Chat GPT
Yes, yes,
and
yeah.
learning how to use it.
And as far as the topic on this, more like a spiritual side, more of like a um how do you say, spiritual meets science. That's what I call
Mhm.
it, right? That those two are talking about. Those are topic are very interesting as well. So we're gonna have more on this type of topic as well, and we have some already. I already have some contents towards that, more spiritual, psychedelic, DMT. All those brain opening, mind opening, eye opening, right? Third eye. Yeah.
Mhm.
Anyways, so do you have any before we go? Because this one today is gonna be shorter because of the long weekend. So, do you have anything
Yeah,
that you want
yeah.
to add?
No, I don't have anything extra. I look forward to. I'm glad you mentioned that AI
Yes.
product and service. I'm looking forward to seeing what that brings forward for you, and I would really love to check it out as soon as you get it. As soon as
Agree.
you get it working product out that's serviceable. Really like to check it out.
Thank you.
I'm
Yeah.
I'm working through the Chat GPT,
Mm.
and there's a lot of different functions. Some of it's extremely, it's like with everything. Some of it's extremely helpful, and some of it's like, what is this thing trying to do?
Well,
you know?
this is what I learned early on in the stage that about AI is they also have a good day and bad days. So seriously, so when you ask some question or some prompts today, and then you come back tomorrow, they'll give you a different answer or different different
Yes,
result.
yes, it's been my experience with
Yeah.
AI, with the AI I'm using. It's you have to think about your question. You can't just throw
Yeah.
the first thing off the top of your head. And you can if you're not trying to get a deep answer. You just
Mhm.
want an answer. Yeah, throw the
Mm.
first thing off the top of your head because that stuff works with them with the AI models too.
Right.
If you want a deeper answer, you got to think about it more. You
Yeah, you
might
have
want to
to.
come at it from a different angle,
Right.
but you can also have it reference other things. And like you said, some days you're getting outstanding material, and other days
Mhm. Right.
it's just giving me stuff like
Craps.
yeah, like I've had days where I had Chat GPT just being purely creative, image wise and video wise.
Okay.
I'm just giving it as little input as possible, letting it create.
Yeah.
I'm like, I want to see what this thing can make, you
Yeah.
know. And some days it was giving me stuff I was just blown away. Like
Mm.
I don't even know where it got. I couldn't
Yeah.
even give you the first clue where it got information to put this in. And then other days I giving it input, and it's like it's like not even in the ballpark. It's out in the parking lot walking in circles. I'm like, what's going? This is
Yeah.
no. I'm like, that is not anything close to what I was talking about or
Yeah.
what I wanted. And
Yeah. If that happens again, try again the next day. When it is in a good mood. Right?
yeah, yeah. I just come back. I just come back later and mess with it some more. But I've had to focus down because I was getting carried away for a while. The Chat GPT has a lot of functionality to it to narrow
Right.
down the algorithm usage.
Right.
So I've had to focus down and just peel off a lot of things. Like I don't need this. So
Yeah.
I've learned you keep a train running of
Hmm.
questions and answers. It can also use that as material,
Right.
and then
Got it.
it you get really your answers to get a lot better when it's got something, a history it can look at of for
Mm.
right up front ideas.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you
All
for
right.
sharing with us your little tips on that. And
Yes, I really appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
and thank you for joining us, and thank you everyone for joining us. And if you're in the United States, happy Labor Day weekend, and be safe out there. Be careful.
Happy
Always.
Labor Day weekend, everyone.
Okay. So tune in for next Friday when we go on live. Don't forget.
Yeah.
Subscribe, share this video with your friends and family, and hit that notification button if you're on YouTube. Okay. See you next week. Bye.
Bye bye.